So that leads us to the next question. Who are you doing it for? I was talking to a VC friend of mine in Silicon Valley, and I asked him what he looks for in a winning startup. And he said, the best entrepreneurs will tell you that it was about serving something or someone other than themselves in the process of building whatever it was they built. The best entrepreneurs understand how to serve authentically. It's not about them, it's about something bigger and more important than they are. They believe in what they're building and who they're building it for. Whose life are you going to change with your business? Now you may think, well, my business is just about widgets, and so I'm not really going to be changing lives with widgets. But that's not true. Because if that's the case, then you should set out to build the most incredibly profitable widget business you possibly can. And then take a portion of those profits and take some of your staff and go to a third world country and go build schools or hospitals or something else. There's a lot of ways to set about changing the world, and it doesn't always have to be just with what it is your business is doing. My partner Dave used to say, if there's water pouring into the sink, you need to be sure that the drain is open so that a little can flow out. Otherwise, you just end up with a cesspool of a business. And it was his inspiration of giving, even when sometimes, and I used to do some of the books and some of the payroll, sometimes we were stressed out about making payroll, let alone covering our expenses and let alone giving money away. But always Dave would give, whether it was through time or efforts, or time or money. And now to this day, it's something that we do as a part of Disney. So let's look at Walt Disney, for instance, since, as you know, I'm a Disney fan. My first job was at Disneyland. Walt, does anyone actually here? We'll do a little Q&A now. I'll ask you the questions, though, so someone can raise their hand. Why did Walt build a theme park? Does anyone know? Who he built it for? Are you allowed to answer, though? It's like the teacher answering. No, it's cool. It is, you're right. It's his kids. It was actually his daughters. He used to take his daughters down to the local park, and there was a carousel. In fact, it's still there to this day, and there's a plaque that says, here, Walt Disney had the idea for Disneyland. But he would sit there and watch his daughters go around this carousel, and he dreamed of one day building a park that inspired their imaginations and inspired their creativity. And to this day, it is one of the most successful parts of the Walt Disney Company. And they continue to expand, and it continues to grow. And again, it wasn't because Walt said, boy, have I got an idea to make some money. Or boy, I can expand this somehow. It was an idea for his kids. Most people don't realize that the answer to this, the who, is the primary reason Club Penguin was so successful. We built Club Penguin for our kids. That is why we didn't bring in other investors, because we wanted to approach everything as parents. It's why we wouldn't let the servers go down, because we weren't just impacting the kids, the millions of kids from around the world. We were also letting down our own kids who would come running in and go, Daddy, why can't I log into Club Penguin? That is why our company personally responds to every email we receive, over 10,000 a day. Because if my child takes the time to write someone, I would expect them to receive a thoughtful response. That is why we have well over 200 full-time, in-house safety and support personnel, because we wanted to ensure that each and every one of them took care of our audience and made sure that they were people who loved taking care of kids and weren't just nameless, faceless people somewhere. That is why we built our business in the Okanagan and in BC, because it's an incredibly family-friendly place, and there's a wealth of talented, amazing people that care about kids. And that is why, believe it or not, in 2007, that is why we joined the Walt Disney Company, so that we could rapidly grow our infrastructure, because there wasn't enough time for me to do it and also to be a good dad. And if the very thing that I created for my kids ended up taking me away from them, I wouldn't have been able to live with that. Know who you're doing it for, and then make sure you don't forget. So in closing, what being an entrepreneur means, truly means, and the only thing that is guaranteed, is that you will wake up every morning loving what you do and not imagine doing anything else. I'm really fortunate to be in a position where I don't have to work again, but I can't imagine not working, not doing something that has the potential to make a difference in the world. I get to be a part of a team that not only entertains millions of kids around the world, but also helps feed, helps educate, helps take care of sick kids in some of the poorest parts of the world who couldn't even afford to eat, let alone pay us $5 for a monthly membership to Club Penguin. The reality is that I haven't been working for most of my life because I got out of the treadmill, out of the rat race, let go of the ladder, and simply said, I'm going to do what I love to do. Whether I'm a pauper or a king, whether I'm working for myself or someone else, I will do what I love to do, what I was created for. Being that kind of an entrepreneur guarantees success. It may not always be financial success or hierarchical success, but it will be the kind of success that wakes you up every morning ready to do it again, regardless of what you may face. So with that, I want to thank you again for having me. And I would love to spend some time answering some of your questions. And I believe we have microphones, correct? Yes. So there'll be people with microphones running around to hand them to you. If you want to just raise your hand, they will run and bring you a microphone. Or if you want to run to them, that's fine as well. You can ask anything. I may not answer it. No, I'll probably answer it. I'll most likely answer it. How about that? Go ahead.
Hi, Tris Hussey from the Next Web, and my daughter was one of your very, very loyal Club Penguin kids, and she became one of the secret agents who were responsible for helping to monitor things and keep bullies at bay. Who came up with that idea? Because it was just brilliant.
Well, no, I'm just joking. It actually wasn't me. I wish it was. No, I think that one came from, I believe it was Chris Hendricks, who was one of our artists and one of our first employees. I don't know where either idea came from. The first idea was we want to do a secret agent because secret agents are cool and every kid wants to be a secret agent. That was definitely the Chris and the Lance part. The element, though, of the taking ownership and empowerment really came from all of us, which the idea was we didn't want it to be kind of a Big Brother scenario. We really wanted, what he's talking about is in the world of Club Penguin, you can become a secret agent, you can help take care of the world of Club Penguin. And since then, now it's even evolved into the Elite Penguin Force, and there's all sorts of like special ops gear, and it's really, really cool. Anyway, but it's all about helping keep Club Penguin safe and harm-free and helping out your fellow penguins and all sorts of other things. So yeah, that's good. I guess that's it? No, I'm just joking. We got a few more. All right.
Hi there. Do you have any recommendations for somebody who's got a pretty stable job, stable income? They kind of like their job, sometimes they don't. But they're really passionate about many things. They have tons of ideas, don't know where to start, but don't have the time to do it except after work. But say they get home from work at 8 p.m., they don't really want to work on what their passion is anyways. Do you have any ideas for those people?
Wow. Boy, do I have any ideas? Well, I would start, it depends on what all your nutty ideas are. If your nutty ideas have existed somehow or there's anything that's remotely close to it, start by making sure that your stable job is anywhere close to what it is you're interested in doing, because at a minimum you'll be learning something while you're building out your ideas. I don't know if there's any one way. I could tell you with Club Penguin, Club Penguin started, it was a year of concerted effort to get it launched, but it really started about 5 years before in Lance Pre, one of the other co-founders, in his basement, where he was playing around with technologies and other things in the afternoon. And actually the way I found out about it was Lance came to me and said, Lane, I'm going to be cutting back my hours to, or he was already at 4 days a week. He goes, I'm going to be going to 3 days a week next year, and then 2 days a week the year after that, and I just want to let you know so that you're prepared for it. He was an artist with the web company that we were a part of. And I went to him and I said, well, Lance, he was making not just Club Penguin, he was actually making Flash games, and at the time people weren't using Flash for gaming. It was just still like all those annoying intros to web pages that you'd have to sit through and then just look for the skip button, remember? Anyway, but he was making these games with it, and I said, Lance, I don't know how you're ever going to be able to afford this. I mean, are you sure you're really making the right decision here? And he said, Lane, I'm making more money 1 day a week than I am the 4 days a week I'm working here. So, yeah, I'd actually like to go and spend 2 days a week on this thing and 3 days a week here. So it was actually a really smart idea for him. That's how he did it. And then for us, obviously, we dove straight in. But we still kept clients, actually. The way that we ended up funding it as well, Dave Crisco, like I said, one of the other founders, he said, listen, I'll give you all the profits from this company while you guys are starting up. And then I just want to be paid back first if we ever make any money on this thing. And so you can go ahead and make as many profits as you need. And so it really was empowering for us, because then I kind of took on 2 jobs from that moment. I was, on the one hand, trying to accelerate the profits of our business so that we could pour those all into the other hat I was wearing, which was this crazy little website for kids that we were trying to work on. So again, that's how we did it. There's no one way. Some people would say, you know, quit your job tomorrow and go for it. That may be the right decision for you. Others may say, you know what, find a more, crossfade it, as I like to always say. You can crossfade it. That may work for you as well. It all depends on your, it depends also on your idea. If it's something you have to hit fast, meaning, you know, time is of the essence, which it usually is, but there's some industries that have a longer run rate. If time's short, then I'd say go for it now, because you're not going to get a shot later. Anyway, another question. Yes?
I was just wondering about your background, education, computers, tech. What did you do prior to getting into the website stuff?
Sure. Well, I started with a diorama building business. No, I'm just joking. I didn't. Wow, my background, it's a bit of an odd one, because I actually have a degree in religion and sociology. I was an awful student, though. I mean, I was awful. I mean, you guys talk about not being able to pass one class. I've got a couple. No, I mean, I was a C student, maybe a couple Ds, but and then some Bs from time to time. I will tell you an honest to goodness truth. If there are teachers here, please don't ever do this to your kids, to your students. Graduation, like week, you know, you're running around getting the gown, and you know, you don't have to go to class because you're taking pictures and all this stuff, right? I'm literally walking down the hallway, and I still remember her name. Mrs. Brover stops me in the hallway, and she looks at me and she goes, "So, Lane, are you going to college?" Assuming, of course, I was going to say no. I couldn't get in anywhere. Well, the good news was I found a small school in Canada that would let me in as long as I paid. And so I didn't tell her that. I just said, well, yes, Mrs. Brover, actually, I am going to university. And she looked up at me. She was a smaller woman. She looked up at me and she said, "Lane, I wish you wouldn't waste your parents' money." Can you believe that? Yeah, so I'm going back there next week to find Mrs. Brover. No, I'm just joking. I'm not. No, so teachers, if you have students that maybe are a little crazy and driving around their neighborhood in lawnmowers and all sorts of, encourage them anyway, even if they're not the best students or get the best grades, because, yeah.